Use this time wisely, lead your people, build your future, and fuel your mission. This is time very well used, ladies and gentlemen. Don't skimp out on this. This is one of the most important things you'll do in your entire year. The clearer that your team becomes on your mission, visions, and values, the more aligned they are. It's like everybody being in the boat. Welcome to the Sales Made Simple podcast. This podcast is dedicated to helping overwhelmed outdoor living professionals, landscapers, and hardscapers just like you increase your closing rate to over 75% without doubling your workload so you can build a seven-figure business that doesn't need you. I'm your host, Joshua Gillow. Let's dig in. When's the last time you sat down with your team and worked on your mission, vision, and values for the company? Do you even have mission, vision, and values for your company? And if you do, where'd you get them? Did you just kind of pull them out of a book or knew that was something that you should do, so you did? And does your team even know about them? Are they true? It's said in the Bible, without vision, you'll perish. And in the wintertime is a perfect opportunity to lead with purpose and to focus on spending time figuring out exactly who you are as a company. Not just who you are as just the owner, but who you are as a company. So when winter slows down the job sites, it's perfect time actually, to speed up your clarity. If you haven't already asked, where are we going? This is the time. Your team members are asking the same thing. They're asking, all right, I got a job. Where is he taking this? Where is she taking this? What's 5 years look like for now? They have families, they have expenses, they have dreams too. The question is, how clear are you with them about where this business is going? Or is it just a way for you to make money on their backs? And if that's the case, they're not going to stick around very long. If you have a problem with people coming and going out of your business, not because necessarily they're lazy, it could be perhaps because they don't see where you're going. And the clearer you can be as an owner with them about where this business is going and having them on board with that, or not on board and have them out, right size themselves out of the company and find somebody who's on board with the mission, the more loyalty you're going to have. But you need to have a clear idea of where you're going. So today we're going to talk about how to use the off season to reset your mission, vision, and values. Because without a clear target, you're not building, you're just surviving. And let's face it, survival is where most of us were stuck for a very long time. I know I was, until I realized how to get past it. And this is one of the key fundamental pieces that changed it. When I finally have the opportunity to sit down and make these vision and mission statements with the team. Once we had those clear mission and vision in place, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to go in a direction. Lay it out. All of a sudden, we started getting a lot more focused on where we're heading as a company and what our targets are. So the main message today is to set time aside to cast a vision. Block off a day and a half a day, whatever it means for you and your team to get together. No tools, no distractions, not even no phones. Leave those out of the building or out of the office space. Just focus on discussion. Ask, what do we want? Where do we want to be in the next 1, 3, 5 years as a company? What will we be proud of building beyond just money? Those two questions alone will help shift everything in your business. If you're running around now just trying to make money and keep the lights on, when it comes to a bigger vision for the company, why it exists, what are we trying to do or prove in the world? What are we trying to accumulate over time of doing this work? Once you're clear on what that might look like, even if it's just a little clear, everything starts to change. And like I mentioned, the Bible says where there is no vision, the people will perish. That's in Proverbs 29:18. It's not just a business principle, it's a leadership truth. And our job as business owners is to support that or create that vision and make sure we're achieving it in each and every move that we're making as a company. That's our role as owners and CEOs of these companies. It's to create the vision with our team and then protect it and make sure we're moving or directing the ship in that direction. When we're making decisions for the business, whether we buy new equipment, whether we open another location, whether we take on commercial work and we've only ever done residential work, all of that goes back to the mission, vision, and values. Do they line up? Do these decisions line up with those three factors of our business that we've already set in place? And that helps make decisions for you, helps making decisions much, much easier, because you're not just building patios. You're building a legacy, a culture, and a mission. My mentor talks about this all the time. He's a pastor, and he said he sat next to many people's deathbeds and listened to what their thoughts are on the last minutes of their lives. And not one of them has ever said, I wished I worked more. I wished I made more money. They all talk about the hard times, the things they got through and they persevered. They talk about the mission they had set in their life, if they did have one, or a vision, and how they conquered or met that. They talked about sticking true to their values, especially in the hardest times. So I offer you this invitation to start thinking deeper about what your business truly is. I believe a business is an entity that reflects the owner's true mission, vision, and values in life. And his goal is to find others in the world that support that mission, vision, and values, and to be able to take those three further because your business is only a direct reflection of you inside. So if you as the owner are struggling with a certain thing, maybe it's communication, maybe it's closing deals, maybe it's yes management where you're constantly chasing everything all around, your whole company is most likely suffering from a similar thing as well. Because we really deep down, we really only reflect what we are in our personal lives and also in our business lives. So if you want to grow your business, the first thing you need to do is grow you and your team's ability to run a different kind of business or a business that's inspired or growing. Ask yourself with your mission, vision, and values, are they still clear? If you have them, are they still clear? Are they still accurate? Are they still inspiring? Do they guide your decisions or do they just sit on the wall? You've seen it like, we have integrity, we have excellence. Like all that is bullshit unless the entire company's heartbeat is beating on those things. And they might be true, but how do you make them even more true? Don't just do what everybody else is doing. Do something that actually gets your team up and rally for the truth that is what they're doing each and every day out on the job sites. Ask your team, get them involved. Can they repeat their mission in their own words? Can they repeat it? Or do they not even know your company has a mission or vision? What are your values? What are their values? What if you sat down and had an actual talk like that in the wintertime when you have time or when your downtime is, and start working on the core of the business? Now, I know this might seem all woo-woo and touchy-feely to some of you listeners out there, but once you get this piece clear, once you have much more confidence and clarity around this mission, vision, and values, things start to shift. Making decisions for your company becomes easier because you know where you're going. And don't fret about trying to get it perfect right off the bat. It's taken me years to get to the point where I have my own personal mission and vision and values together. And it takes time to sit in the ones that you think are yours until you find one bigger than, one value that's higher than another. And eventually you can get them ironed out. So the main thing is that you show up and just do the work. Start with something. So when you have a vision for your company and a mission and values, do your team feel like they're even part of it? Or do you even live out your values or just clock in and out? So if the answers aren't clear, it's time to bring them back to life. Bring them up at the next meeting. Set up an entire half day, or day and a half. Do something different outside of the office with your team and work through this stuff. Put a big board together of just everybody's idea for vision and mission. Now, as the owner, you eventually are the one that are going to make all the decisions on this. But if your team is throwing ideas in and they still resonate with your vision for the mission, vision, and values, put them up on the board. It sounds like a good idea. And then let's whittle them down to the most effective ones that are going to help move the business forward. Because the vision will direct your effort. If the goal is only money, your team will burn out. So will you. And money matters, but it's not the only metric. Ask the team, what kind of company do we want to be? What kind of projects do we want to be known for? What kind of lives are we helping our clients have and live? These kinds of questions will help open up. Again, remember we talked about questions? The better the questions, the better the answer. So as leaders, our job is to be able to communicate better. And when we learn how to communicate better, we can get better answers to help move the needle faster. It's not just relying on our teams to have all the answers for us. It's asking the questions and pulling the information from them and then considering it in your overall weight of the conversation. So winter is for alignment. Bring your teams into the conversation. Help them see the big picture. They're not just labor, they're part of the mission. When they feel like they're part of a mission, everything changes. When they think they're just coming in to use their arms and legs and back for the next 5 days and they can finally have a weekend off to go do something else, they show up very differently than when they show up thinking, I've got a mission. And the clearer you are at crafting that mission with them and holding it as pure and sacred, that'll be your level of success you run into. Share those goals. Ask about their goals. Where do they want to be in 5 years from now? Align your culture around shared values, not just shared tasks. That is so, so huge. What your soul's really chasing throughout this is not just chasing profits. You're chasing peace, fulfillment, and purpose, and the bigger impact. Your company is a tool, not just for money, but for meaning. It's our job as owners to give all of this work, sweat, and everything a much bigger meaning. That's where mission and vision come in. Winter gives you the time to clarify what most matters to everyone, not just you, but also your entire group, team, or however your company's set up. So don't waste the winter waiting for phones to ring. Use it to lead, to reflect, to reconnect, and refine your mission, ignite your vision, and re-anchor your values. If they need to be adjusted, And we at Master Plan, we go through that every single year. We look at what we said last year. How much clearer are we this year? We make adjustments and we move on. The whole team does it. We take a day and a half, 2 days out of the office. We'll go for a hike. We'll go to a restaurant and work on this, or go to somewhere and sit down where it's quiet, and we'll work on it outside of the office. So it doesn't feel like you're kind of stuck at work, but go somewhere new and fresh for everybody. Work on this stuff step by step with your group. And then we do something fun. It could be paintball. It could be going for a hike. It could be whatever, throwing hatchets if you want to, or whatever is something that your whole team enjoys doing. Because when the vision is clear and the action becomes powerful and seamless, and the company knows where it's going, it always outperforms the ones that are just trying to stay busy. Use this time wisely, lead your people, build your future, and fuel your mission. This is time very well used, ladies and gentlemen. Don't skimp out on this. This is one of the most important things you'll do in your entire year. And the clearer that your team becomes on your mission, visions, and values, the more aligned they are. It's like everybody being in the boat. And if they're not clear on those things, it's like some people rowing forward, some people rowing backwards, some people rowing sideways, some people not rowing at all. When you have clear mission, vision, and values, your whole team has the opportunity to participate in rowing forward. And when you have the entire system in place to do that, and they all understand it, where it's coming from, and they understand its deeper meaning, not just making money, but changing lives and working for that mission and vision, they all start rowing in the same direction. And that's when power happens. That's when your business really takes off. But it takes this time that seems like wasted time because you're not producing something physical to get to that point. So I challenge you, listeners, to spend time this winter. And if you don't understand what mission, vision, and values are, go to ChatGPT. Ask how we can set it up for you. That resource will help you a lot in getting you an idea of what that could look like. Work with your team, develop this, put it on the wall, and change it as you evolve. Because there's one thing we know in life is that you're never stagnant for very long. It's just like a tree. You're either growing or you're dying. There's no stagnation in the middle. So get out there. I challenge you to work on this winter, because I tell you right now, when you do, so many things are going to change. Thanks for listening.
What if you could close 75% of your projects without chasing, convincing, or dropping your price? That's not a dream. That's the mission. Mission 75. Here at Yes Express Sales Academy, we are spearheading a bold shift to help outdoor living contractors sell with confidence, not desperation. Because let's be real. You've been told to just give them a good price and hope for the best. You've been trained to beg for work and give away your time and compete with contractors who don't even play at your level. That ends now. I wrote the Core 10 Sales Playbook because it's the system I desperately needed 20 years ago. It's built for real-world, design-build contractors, not guys in suits. Inside, I'll show you how to qualify leads in minutes, speak to emotion, not features, cut confusion and eliminate ghosting, lead the sales call with calm authority, and close premium jobs without flinching. That book drops in January 2026. Check out the show notes to get on the list to be the first in line to grab your copy of the Core 10 Sales Playbook before they're gone. This isn't about working harder. It's about selling smarter, and it starts now. Let's raise the standard together.